The scream didn't come from a victim, or a battlefield, or a burning city. It came from inside Batman's head. He was standing in the Batcave when the lights flickered red, then yellow, then bled into childish colors that didn't belong underground. A laugh echoed, wet and playful, like something pretending to be innocent. "Batsy," the voice whispered, knowing his name without permission. In that instant, Bruce Wayne felt something he hadn't felt since his parents died, pure, crawling fear. Not fear of pain, or death, or failure, but fear of becoming small again. Above Gotham, children across the city stopped laughing at the same time. Red balloons rose from sewer grates. And somewhere beyond space, something ancient smiled, because the Justice League had finally noticed it was hungry again. Superman heard it next, not with his ears, but with his soul. While hovering above Metropolis, his heartbeat stuttered as memories not his own flooded his mind. Worlds screaming, civilizations collapsing, hope rotting from the inside. The thing didn't challenge strength. It ignored power. It went straight for fear, sharpening it like a blade. Wonder Woman felt it through the gods, an old wrong stirring beneath reality, something predating Olympus, mocking even Ares. Flash froze mid-run, knees shaking, seeing a future where every step ended in darkness. Green Lantern's ring flickered, struggling to translate the threat. This wasn't a conqueror or warlord. It was a predator that fed on terror, wore smiles as camouflage, and used childhood as its favorite weapon. Batman finally named it aloud, voice tight and controlled. Pennywise. Pennywise didn't arrive with explosions or armies. He arrived with nightmares. Children vanished first, not physically, but emotionally. They stopped speaking, stopped dreaming, stopped believing heroes would come. News reports showed smiling clowns at crime scenes, always gone when cameras turned. In Gotham, adults began fearing their own reflections. In Central City, the streets felt narrower, darker, closer. Pennywise manifested differently for each hero, studying them like a collector. For Superman, he appeared as a world where Lois never existed. For Batman, he became an alley that never ended. For Wonder Woman, he wore the faces of fallen Amazons, accusing her of abandonment. Pennywise thrived because the League fought threats they could punch. This thing laughed at punches. It waited patiently, feeding slowly, because fear tasted better when it ripened. The League gathered, but unity didn't bring comfort. Batman laid out patterns, ancient cycles, towns erased, memories suppressed. Pennywise wasn't immortal, but it was persistent, returning whenever fear fermented enough to sustain it. "We can't outfight it," Batman said. "We had to outlast it." Flash hated that. Superman clenched his fists, frustrated by an enemy he couldn't hear, see, or save by force. Wonder Woman reminded them fear had always been humanity's oldest enemy. Green Lantern struggled as his ring flickered, weakened by doubt. Pennywise watched invisibly, amused. It didn't want them dead yet. It wanted them uncertain, divided, questioning their own legend. Outside the watchtower, a single red balloon drifted past the windows, tapping softly like a knock from a child who knew you wouldn't open the door. Pennywise finally revealed itself fully in Gotham, because fear lived there comfortably. The sky darkened unnaturally, clouds swirling like a slow drain. The clown emerged from shadows, tall, graceful, smiling too wide. "Oh my," it purred, bowing theatrically. So many flavors of fear. Batman charged first, grappling hook slicing air, only to crash into an illusion of his own parents' bodies hitting the pavement again. Superman followed, fists blazing, but his punches passed through laughter. Pennywise wrapped reality around them like a stage curtain. "You protect them from monsters," it mocked. "But who protects you from yourselves?" Wonder Woman raised her sword, grounding herself in truth, and for the first time, Pennywise's smile twitched. Truth hurt it, courage confused it, hope it despised. The battle shifted inward. Pennywise attacked memories, forcing each hero to confront the moment fear first defined them. Flash relived stopping too late. Green Lantern heard every doubt ever whispered about willpower. Superman faced a future where Earth rejected him. Batman stood again in Crime Alley, but this time he didn't move. He stayed. He breathed. Pennywise grew irritated. Fear was supposed to collapse them, not steady them. Wonder Woman spoke over the chaos, reminding them fear wasn't weakness, it was proof they cared. Pennywise recoiled as understanding spread. The clown shrank slightly, voice sharpening. "This isn't how the story goes," it hissed. Batman looked up, eyes clear. "Stories change," he said. "Especially when the monster forgets one thing." Pennywise leaned closer, curious despite itself. "What's that?" Batman answered quietly. "We're not alone." The people felt it before they saw it. Across cities, fear loosened its grip. Parents held children tighter. Strangers helped strangers. Pennywise fed on isolation, and unity starved it. Green Lantern's ring burned brighter as well returned. Flash ran, not from fear, but through it, creating a current of hope that rippled outward. Superman rose, not angry, but resolute, embodying the future Pennywise tried to erase. Wonder Woman bound the creature with her lasso, forcing it to confront its own truth, an ancient parasite dependent on fear's permission. Pennywise screamed, form destabilizing, colors bleeding away. "You'll forget me," it shrieked. Batman stepped forward. "Maybe," he said, "but we'll remember how to fight you." With a final echoing laugh, Pennywise collapsed inward, dragged back into the dark between realities. Silence followed, not relief, reflection. The League stood amid a city still trembling but alive. Gotham's sky cleared slowly, as if reality itself needed reassurance. Children began laughing again, cautiously at first. Superman listened, smiling softly. Flash sat on the curb, exhausted but alive. Green Lantern steadied his breathing, ring humming calmly. Wonder Woman sheathed her sword, eyes thoughtful. Batman watched the sewer grates, knowing some evils never vanished completely. Pennywise wasn't destroyed. It was denied. Denied fear. Denied isolation. Denied its favorite meal. "It'll come back someday," Flash said. Batman nodded. "Probably," he replied, "but next time, it'll remember us." The red balloon that lingered in the distance popped quietly, like a promise broken by courage. Days later, the world moved forward, but not unchanged. People talked about fear openly now. News anchors discussed courage instead of panic. The League became symbols not of power, but resilience. Batman upgraded protocols, not for strength, but psychological warfare. Superman spent more time among people, grounding hope in presence. Wonder Woman taught that bravery didn't mean fearlessness, only honesty. Flash joked again, but listened more. Green Lantern trained harder, understanding will begin inside. Somewhere far away, in a place without light, Pennywise drifted, wounded and furious. It remembered laughter turning against it. Remembered unity tasting like poison. Fear would return someday. It always did, but now the universe had learned something too. Monsters weren't defeated by fists alone. Some were beaten by standing together, refusing to look away, and choosing hope even when fear begged you to scream. The Justice League didn't celebrate the victory. They respected it. Pennywise had exposed something uncomfortable, that even gods and legends could be afraid. But fear hadn't ended them. It refined them. On the Watchtower, Batman archived the encounter under threats that required humanity to survive, not just heroes. Superman stared at Earth, listening to laughter he'd almost lost. Wonder Woman whispered a prayer older than God's. Flash raced the sunrise. Green Lantern watched the stars with renewed purpose. Far below, a child spotted a red balloon tangled in a tree and walked past it without fear. The balloon deflated slowly, powerless without attention. And in that quiet moment, the universe proved something Pennywise hated most. Fear might be eternal, but so was courage. And courage, when shared, was always stronger. Years later, the story became legend, passed quietly among heroes and civilians alike. Not the clown, not the horror, but the lesson. That fear didn't mean weakness. That monsters thrived on silence. Batman never forgot the sound of that laugh, but it no longer owned him. Superman taught children that bravery could look like kindness. Wonder Woman reminded warriors that truth terrified lies. Flash told stories that made people laugh again. Green Lantern taught discipline of the mind. Pennywise lingered only as a warning now, a shadow myth told to remind the universe to stay awake. Somewhere in the dark, it waited, smaller than before, starving. And somewhere brighter, the Justice League stood ready, not because they were fearless, but because they understood fear, faced it, and chose hope anyway. That was the story worth remembering. No statue was built for the battle, no parade held in its honor. Fear wasn't defeated with spectacle. It was defeated quietly, in moments of choice. A mother comforting a child. A city refusing to panic. Heroes admitting vulnerability. Pennywise hated that its greatest loss wasn't physical but cultural. The universe had learned not to look away. Batman knew vigilance mattered. Superman believed inspiration mattered more. Wonder Woman knew stories shaped reality. Flash knew laughter healed. Green Lantern knew belief powered everything. Pennywise faded further into myth, weaker each time courage was chosen. The League understood now. Their greatest enemy wasn't destruction, but despair. And as long as hope remained louder than fear, the clown would never truly return. Not as a god, not as a king, just as a warning whispered to remind the brave why they stood together. Sometimes, late at night, Gotham children still talked about clowns, about shadows, about strange laughs in drains. But the stories ended differently now. The monster lost, the heroes stayed. Parents didn't silence fear, they explained it. The Justice League had changed how the world told stories. Pennywise depended on endings where fear won. Now, fear was only a chapter, never the conclusion. Batman listened to the city breathe and felt something unfamiliar, peace. Superman watched humanity grow stronger in subtle ways. Wonder Woman smiled at the resilience of mortals. Flash ran futures that didn't end in screams. Green Lantern guarded a universe more aware. Pennywise, drifting alone, realized something terrifying. The League hadn't just beaten it, they'd made it irrelevant. And irrelevance was the one thing a fear god could never survive. In the end, Pennywise wasn't remembered as the clown, or the monster, or the nightmare. It was remembered as the moment fear tried to rule the Justice League and failed. Failed because strength alone wasn't enough. Failed because unity starved it. Failed because humanity refused to give it the last word. The League continued protecting the world, but with deeper understanding. Threats would come, darkness would rise, fear would whisper again, but now there was a blueprint for survival. Stand together, speak the truth, refuse isolation, choose hope loudly. Pennywise waited somewhere, diminished, hoping to be forgotten less. But the universe had moved on, and monsters that rely on fear can never win in a world that remembers how to be brave. That was the real victory. Not the battle, not the scream, not the laugh fading into nothing. The victory was learning that even gods could tremble and still stand tall. The Justice League didn't erase fear. They taught the world how to face it. Pennywise lost because it underestimated something ancient and powerful, shared courage. And as long as people told that story, fear would never again pretend it was unbeatable. Somewhere, a child slept peacefully. Somewhere, a hero watched over a city. Somewhere, a red balloon never rose again. And the universe breathed easier, knowing that when fear came smiling, the Justice League would answer, not with fists, but with unity, truth, and hope that refused to be afraid.